Now, in Genesis chapter 1, it covers a whole lot of time. But Moses doesn't break it down in segments like that. Moses doesn't describe everything that happened 13.8 billion years ago. He simply says in Genesis 1:1, in the beginning. When was the beginning? I don't know. But whenever it was, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay? So, Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1 describes in very simple terminology the creation of the universe. We know in studying things, or we theorize in studying things, that we know that God is very powerful. And we don't theorize that, but we know that part for a fact. And we know that when God created the universe, there was a tremendous release of power when that occurred. It's power released on a scale that we cannot possibly imagine or fathom the amount of energy that was released. And in that, you had particles, subatomic particles called quarks, Q-U-A-R-K-S, quarks, that are the building blocks of matter. But they operate with tremendous energy and heat. And they're only in operation, they're only building matter at extreme temperature. Well, what it believes happened is in 3 minutes and 40 seconds, it cooled. And when it cooled, the quarks were confined. It's called, oddly enough, quark confinement. And when that occurred, all the building of matter stopped in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Scientists refer to this as the Big Bang. I don't have a problem with the Big Bang theory. I believe that that's likely the way that thing happens. I believe that God spoke and bang, it happened. I don't think at all, not even teensy bit, that the universe somehow spontaneously just all of a sudden existed. Someone started that process, gave energy to that to happen. That's what we believe. That's Genesis 1:1 in our Bible. Now then, there were thousands, millions of years that went by before Genesis 1:2. And now then Moses begins to describe something has happened to this planet, a catastrophe, a cataclysmic event or sequence of events has occurred and has left this planet in ruins, without form, void, darkness is upon the face of the deep. And so Genesis chapter 1 in verse 2 is God reordering, restructuring, putting back together the way that this planet was originally created and designed to operate. I told you you're going to need to think out of your box a little bit this morning. It is naive, in my opinion, to believe that the earth is 6,000 years old. There's just stuff on it that's older than that. Lots older. There are bones of things that are a lot older than 6,000 years old. There are bones and artifacts of things that point to where there was actually a civilization that was on the earth, or civilizations, plural, before what we pick up in our Bible. Do you understand? Let me help you with something. None of that violates your Bible. None of that takes away from your Bible. If there was a civilization on the earth that was of great knowledge and skill, that lived, on here 12,000 years ago, that doesn't affect your Bible at all. Because your Bible is not dealing with them. If there was, in fact, a civilization then, it was destroyed. And it was destroyed in the water that happened that we find in Genesis 1:2. Genesis 1:2 begins to tell us the story of God's relationship with man on this planet. Now, right now people are losing their mind over aliens right now. I mean, there are aliens everywhere. And you get the combination of aliens and AI, and my goodness, we ain't got much longer. The aliens are going to use the AI and just wipe us all out. Well, I have good news for you, and that's Think with me for just a moment. Does God live here on this planet? I didn't say is His presence. I'm talking about where His throne is. Is God's throne on the earth? No. It is somewhere else. So where earth is concerned, God is a alien. I told you had to think outside your box today. The Bible tells us that we are in the world, but we're not of it. The Bible tells us we're not of this world, that we came from somewhere else. Now, somebody that doesn't believe in God, they have those thoughts too, so they explain it in a whole lot of different ways. They have to have other ways of explaining that.